Hello. Today General Hospital will reveal July in Port Charles promises more than just the heat of summer. It marks a turning point that will shake the very foundations of General Hospital. As old wounds resurface and long-buried secrets inch toward exposure, the calm that once cloaked the town gives way to chaos. Powerful storylines are poised to dominate the screen, bringing long-anticipated returns, emotional reckonings, and bombshell revelations that will redefine everything fans thought they knew. The landscape of relationships will shift drastically as betrayals come to light and loyalties are tested like never before. The delicate balance between love and revenge, truth and deception, will unravel in spectacular fashion. Familiar faces will re-emerge at pivotal moments, forcing characters to confront ghosts of their pasts and make choices that could destroy the lives they've carefully built. As the July sweeps unfold, Port Charles becomes a battleground of passion, power, and redemption, a place where no secret stays buried, and every move has consequences. The month of July at General Hospital is set to ignite with emotional turbulence as Willow moves forward with her whirlwind wedding to Drew, a decision that is already raising eyebrows and alarms across Port Charles. Despite the short notice and whispers of concern surrounding the timing, Willow remains steadfast in her resolve. This wedding, instead of being a celebration, is beginning to feel more like an escape. An escape from the wreckage of her broken marriage to Michael, the mounting judgment from the Quartermaines, and the tightening grip of her own unraveling psyche. There is something desperate in her determination, a sense that she is clinging to Drew not out of love, but as a lifeline amid the storm. Those who know her best can see the cracks beneath her polished exterior, but the real explosion may come from outside the altar itself. An unexpected force that threatens to destroy everything before vows are even exchanged. That force may come in the form of Tracy, who has never been one to hold her tongue, especially when it comes to protecting the family legacy. Tracy's disdain for Drew has only deepened since the day he humiliated her in court and used Michael as a pawn in his power games. Now, as she watches Willow prepare to marry a man Tracy believes to be both manipulative and dangerous, her patience runs thin. Tracy knows about Drew's past with Nina, a secret affair that would shake Willow's world and paint Drew in a damning light. If Tracy stands up during the ceremony and exposes the truth, it won't just be the end of a wedding, it will be the beginning of a public scandal that could ripple through every corner of Port Charles. However, Tracy may not have to lift a finger if Nina gets there first. Despite her fractured relationship with Willow, Nina remains haunted by the guilt of what she knows. The idea that her silence could doom another woman to the same emotional trap she fell into with Sonny is gnawing at her. And as much as she loathes the idea of aligning herself with Tracy, Nina might see no other way forward. There is a growing possibility that she will take matters into her own hands, step forward, and blow up the wedding herself, perhaps even pleading with Willow to walk away before it's too late. In doing so, Nina could hope to redeem herself in the eyes of both Willow and the community, but the risk is astronomical. It would also mean outing Drew as a liar and exposing just how far he's gone to secure power, even if it means manipulating the grief and trauma of a woman still reeling from loss. Willow's mental state throughout all of this is growing increasingly fragile. Her once calm, compassionate demeanor is beginning to crack under pressure. While she continues to present a composed image to the outside world, those closest to her are beginning to notice signs of distress, moments where she zones out during conversations, lapses in memory, and an unusual fixation with Drew's presence. What's more unsettling is her recent erratic behavior, particularly her sudden appearances near Sasha's home and the Q estate where Daisy often plays. She claims to be concerned for Sasha, but the nature of her visits and the intensity of her gaze on Daisy suggests something deeper, something more troubling. There's a sense that Willow may be projecting her unresolved grief over losing Wiley into a dangerous obsession with another child. As July unfolds, the storyline takes a darker turn. Daisy's mother, Sasha, is no stranger to trauma, and she begins to feel an unsettling instinct that someone is watching her daughter. At first, Sasha brushes off her fears as paranoia, remnants of her past mental health struggles, but small incidents begin to stack up, Daisy's toys rearranged, unexplained footprints near the playroom, and once, a blurry shadow in the corner of her security footage. When Sasha confronts Willow, her tone is calm but firm, yet Willow's reaction is not one of denial, it's one of confusion and panic, almost as if she doesn't realize what she's doing. This only adds fuel to Sasha's suspicions, and she begins documenting each encounter, fearing that if she doesn't act soon, her daughter could become collateral in Willow's descent. The potential for a kidnapping becomes chillingly real when Willow disappears one evening after a particularly heated encounter with Nina and Drew. The wedding now in tatters, Willow vanishes without leaving any explanation. Hours later, Daisy is missing as well. Port Charles is thrown into a frenzy as police are alerted, media descends, and Sasha is inconsolable. All clues point to Willow, whose car was spotted near the park minutes before Daisy vanished. The horror is amplified when a note is discovered in Willow's handwriting, but it's disjointed, emotionally erratic, and almost incoherent. It speaks of second chances, of being a better mother, and of protecting what she's lost. What no one can determine is whether Willow is a criminal or simply broken. As the search continues, deeper layers of Willow's psychological trauma begin to surface. The revelation that she may be suffering from a dissociative condition, a potential side effect of her transplant, medication, or unresolved trauma, begins to take shape. Michael, torn between anger and guilt, is forced to confront the role he played in pushing Willow toward Drew and in abandoning her emotionally after their split. Carly pleads with Jason to help find her, knowing that his ability to see through emotional fog might be the only hope of locating her before tragedy strikes. Meanwhile, Drew, now exposed and isolated, realizes that his carefully constructed image has shattered, leaving him with nothing but a trail of betrayal. And at the center of it all, Port Charles holds its breath, wondering whether redemption is possible, or if this tragedy is simply the price of too many secrets kept for too long. For Brooke Lynn, the fire of vengeance burns hotter than ever, and her determination to protect her son and restore her family's honor could end up triggering a wave of chaos far beyond her control. Still reeling from the betrayal and secrecy surrounding Joe's true paternity, Brooke Lynn has grown colder, more calculating, and dangerously strategic. Her target now appears to be Lulu, a woman she once considered a distant ally but who now represents the life Brooke Lynn might have had. Free of shame, with a partner like Dante still by her side, Brooke Lynn's growing resentment is no longer a whisper in the shadows, it's transforming into action. Her connections within the Quartermaine legacy, paired with her insider knowledge of Dante's past and Lulu's medical condition, may give her the leverage she needs to unleash a scandal designed to fracture their family. Yet Brooke Lynn may find that revenge, once unleashed, has a cost far greater than anticipated. Especially when innocent lives get caught in the crossfire. But while Brooke Lynn sets her scheme in motion, it is the whispered name of Britt that has fans bracing for a seismic shock. Long thought lost to the darkness, Britt has remained an echo in the hearts of those who loved her, especially Jason, whose grief over her death remains buried beneath stoicism. The sudden resurgence of Britt's name in conversations, documents, and mysterious sightings isn't coincidence, it's foreshadowing. Something is stirring beneath the surface of Port Charles, and Britt's shadow looms larger with each passing day. The past refuses to stay buried, and Britt's story, cut too short, may not have ended where everyone thought it did. The timing of her return, both narratively and emotionally, couldn't be more potent. The revelation that Kelly Thibault is set to return to General Hospital this July has sparked a frenzy of speculation, and rightfully so. While it remains unclear whether Kelly will reprise her iconic role as Britt or embody an entirely new character, the clues scattered throughout recent storylines suggest that the show is building toward a massive reveal. Central to this suspense is the enigmatic laboratory tied to Professor Henry Hank Dalton, a facility that has been mentioned with increasing frequency yet remains shrouded in secrecy. This lab, hidden from the public eye and brimming with potential for scientific horror, may hold the answers to the most haunting question of all: is Britt still alive, or has something far more disturbing taken her place? The sheer amount of narrative attention placed on Dalton's research and underground operations points to a bombshell waiting to be dropped, and Britt's DNA, memories, or even her body could be the foundation for whatever grotesque experiment is brewing behind those locked doors. Jocelyn and Jason have independently been pulling at threads leading toward Dalton's lab, but their paths are destined to collide as the evidence mounts. Jocelyn's personal connection to Britt through her mother Carly and her desperation to unearth the truth pushes her deeper into dangerous territory, while Jason, haunted by what he couldn't save, follows a path littered with regrets. Their parallel investigations begin to converge as new intel leads them both to the outskirts of Port Charles, where strange disappearances, encrypted medical records, and tampered death certificates begin to suggest that Britt's supposed demise may have been a carefully orchestrated illusion. The possibility that Britt was taken, experimented on, or, worse, duplicated, raises moral and emotional stakes that neither Jocelyn nor Jason are prepared to face. The rumors of a cloning storyline have only added fuel to this already burning narrative. If true, this twist could explain inconsistencies in Britt's final days, her abrupt disappearance, and the eerie silence from the institutions that once had her files. Such a plot would not only allow for Kelly's return in a creatively bold way but also introduce profound questions about identity, memory, and humanity. If Britt returns only to discover she's a clone, or worse, that the real Britt died and she's simply a manufactured replacement, the psychological and emotional repercussions would ripple across the canvas. How would Jason react to loving someone who may not be the person he once knew? Would Port Charles accept her, fear her, or seek to control her? And what would Britt herself feel if she realized her memories were not her own? Whether the Britt who reappears is the genuine article or a synthetic facsimile, her return is poised to reset the emotional landscape of General Hospital. Her presence will force confrontations, trigger betrayals, and possibly unveil new antagonists who have been operating from the shadows. Her dynamic with Jason could be reignited, her rivalry with Carly may be revisited, and her position in the tangled legacy of the Westbournes might become a central focus once more. And if Brooke Lynn schemes against Lulu's spiral into catastrophe at the same time Britt resurfaces, the convergence of emotional fallout could spark a chain reaction that no one, not even the most calculating, can control. The return of Kelly Thibault, under any guise, ensures that July will not merely be dramatic, it will be explosive. And as Port Charles prepares for that explosion, fans are left piecing together the clues scattered across episodes like breadcrumbs. The lab. The whispered rumors. The timing of Britt's name surfacing just as Brooke Lynn unleashes her vendetta. The cryptic files found in Dalton's possession, coded with initials that match long-dead or missing patients. A stolen locket that belonged to Britt, now in the possession of someone who shouldn't have ever seen it. These are not coincidences, they are part of a larger, sinister puzzle, one that Jocelyn and Jason are dangerously close to solving. And when they do, they may not just find Britt. They may unearth a secret so devastating, so ethically horrifying, that it threatens to tear the fabric of General Hospital apart. July is coming, and with it, a reckoning years in the making. Sonny Corinthos remains the magnetic force at the center of Port Charles's most explosive storylines as July unfolds, with the walls closing in from every direction. Years of loyalty, intimidation, and silence have upheld his empire, but those foundations are beginning to crack. Legal threats loom large, as federal prosecutors circle with new evidence that could put Sonny behind bars for good. Yet, paradoxically, it may not be the court system that delivers the fatal blow. A shadow network, ruthless, invisible, and increasingly bold, has marked Sonny for elimination. The tension between legal justice and street vengeance is reaching a boiling point, and Sonny is forced to navigate both while questioning whom he can trust. Old allies have gone silent, surveillance has picked up strange movements around his territory, and rumors of a double agent embedded in his crew are intensifying. Each day becomes a gamble between staying alive and staying free. Meanwhile, Michael Corinthos may find his recent custody victory slipping through his fingers as his alliance with Jen Sidwell threatens to implode. Though Michael's motives were once rooted in fatherly protection, the path he chose to secure custody of Wiley is now mired in ethical rot. Sidwell's bribery of court officials delivered Michael a decisive win, but the strings attached to that victory are now unraveling, dangerously fast. Whispers of judicial tampering are growing louder, and if those allegations are proven, not only could Michael lose custody, but he may also face criminal charges. What was once a calculated risk to shield his son from a fractured maternal household has now mutated into a legal time bomb. As the press begins to dig deeper and opposing counsel sharpens their knives, Michael must decide whether to distance himself from Sidwell or double down and fight dirty. Either choice could redefine his future as a father, and as a Corinthos. The true wild card remains Jens Sidwell himself, whose thirst for power and control knows no bounds. Though he appeared as a silent benefactor in Michael's custody case, Sidwell's ambitions extend far beyond courtroom victories. He is quietly weaving a political and financial net around Port Charles, with key figures like Sonny and Michael as his primary pawns. But Sidwell's games are always rigged, and betrayal is just another move on his board. Should his role in the bribery scandal become public, he won't hesitate to redirect blame, even if it means taking Michael down with him. More disturbingly, rumors are beginning to swirl that Sidwell has been manipulating events far more intimately than anyone realized, pulling strings not only in family court, but also in Sonny's criminal prosecution. The convergence of these storylines suggests that Sidwell may be orchestrating an elaborate power play to wipe out both Corinthos' men in one calculated stroke. On a seemingly separate but equally volatile front, Cody Bell's flirtation with Ava Jerome threatens to derail more than just reputations, it could collapse an entire strategy. Initially recruited to charm and distract Ava for reasons yet to be fully revealed, Cody entered the game with confidence and swagger. But the more time he spends with Ava, the more blurred the lines between manipulation and genuine emotion become. Ava, perceptive as ever, senses that Cody is holding something back. But rather than push him away, she appears intrigued. Their chemistry is palpable, electric even, but Cody's hesitations hint at something deeper, perhaps guilt, or perhaps real affection he didn't anticipate developing. If Cody cracks under emotional pressure and confesses, not only could his mission implode, but Ava herself might turn the tables, using that information to her advantage. That brings us to Christina Corinthos Davis, whose broader scheme is intricately tied to both Cody and Ava, though the specifics remain shrouded in secrecy. Christina's motivations have long been complex, part idealism, part personal vendetta, and her involvement in this web of manipulation suggests a desire for control or justice that hasn't fully come into view. She may have seen Ava as a threat to Sonny, to herself, or to the Corinthos name, and orchestrated Cody's involvement as a way to gain leverage. But as news filters in that things aren't going according to plan, perhaps Cody's loyalties are shifting, or Ava's unpredictability is proving unmanageable, Christina is forced to reassess. Her plan, once sleek and methodical, now shows signs of unraveling. And if she's not careful, Christina could be left exposed, caught in the crossfire of emotional fallout and public scandal. The danger for Christina lies in underestimating the people she believes she controls. Ava is far more experienced in the art of subterfuge than Christina realizes, and Cody is no longer the eager operative he was when the plan began. If both begin to see through the layers of manipulation and realize they've been used as pawns, Christina may become the one surrounded on all sides. Furthermore, should her involvement in orchestrating the Ava-Cody liaison become known, her political ambitions and family credibility could be irrevocably damaged. It's a precarious position, balancing ambition with secrecy, love with control. And July may very well be the month where all of Christina's carefully laid plans come crashing down in one spectacular collapse. As the storms swirl around Sonny, Michael, Cody, Ava, and Christina, Port Charles braces for a month defined by unraveling loyalties, exposed secrets, and dangerous alliances. No storyline exists in isolation, and the threads connecting these characters, family, ambition, betrayal, are tightening with each episode. With the legal system closing in on Sonny, Sidwell preparing to make a decisive move, Michael's custody at risk, Cody's heart at war with his mission, and Christina on the edge of losing control. July promises a tidal wave of consequences. In this city where power is currency and trust is a liability, the stakes have never been higher, and no one, not even a Corinthos, is safe from the fallout.